Chapter 1. I understood almost nothing about the woods until it was nearly too late. And that is strange, because my ignorance was based on knowledge. Most of my life, it seems, I've been in the forest or on the sea. Most of my time, sleeping and waking, has been spent outside, in close contact with what we now call the environment, what my uncles used to call simply the woods. We hunted small and large game. We hunted and killed, and though I think now that it is wrong to hunt and kill, at the time I did not think this, and I spent virtually all my time hunting and learned nothing. Perhaps the greatest paradox about understanding the woods is that so many who enjoy it, or seem to enjoy it, spend most of their time trying to kill parts of it. Yet it was a hunter, a wild one, and an act of almost unbelievable violence that led me to try to understand all of it and to try to learn from it without destroying it. I lived in innocence for a long time. I believed in the fairy tale version of the forest until I was close to 40 years old. Gulled by Disney and others, I believed Bambi always got out of the fire. Nothing ever really got hurt. Though I hunted and killed, it was always somehow clean and removed from reality. I killed, yet thought that every story had a happy ending. Until a December morning. I was running a dog team around the side of a large lake, just starting out on my trap line. It was early winter, and the ice on the lake wasn't thick enough to support the sled and team, or I would have gone across the middle. There was a rough trail around the edge of the lake, and I was running a fresh 8-dog team, so the small loop, which added 5 or so miles, presented no great difficulty. It was a grandly beautiful winter morning. The temperature was perhaps 10 below, with a bright sun that shone through ice crystals in the air so that everything seemed to sparkle. The dogs were working evenly, the gang line up through the middle of them thrumming with the rhythm it has when they are working in perfect tandem. We skirted the lake, which lay below and to the right. To the left and rising higher were willows and brush, which made something like a wall next to the trail. The dogs were still running at a lope, though we had come over 7 miles, and I was full of them. My life was full of them. We were, as it happens sometimes, dancing with winter. I could not help smiling, just smiling idiotically at the grandness of it. Part of the chant of an ancient Navajo prayer rolled through my mind. Beauty above me, beauty below me, beauty before me. That is how I felt then and frequently still feel when I'm running dogs. I was in and of beauty, and at that precise moment, a doe, a white-tailed deer, exploded out of some willows on the left side of the team heading down the bank toward the lake. The snow alongside the trail was about 2 feet deep and powdery, and it followed her in a white shower that covered everything. She literally flew over the lead dog, who was a big, white, wolfy-looking male named Dollar. He was so surprised that he dropped, ducked for part of an instant, then rose, almost like a rock skipping on the trail, and continued running. We were moving so fast, and the deer was moving so fast, that within a second or two we were several yards past where it had happened, and yet everything seemed suspended in slow motion. Above all, in the deer was the stink of fear. Even in that split part of a second, it could be smelled. It could be seen. The doe's eyes were so wide they seemed to come out of her head. Her mouth was jacked open and her tongue hung out to the side. Her jaw and neck were covered with spit, and she stunk of fear. Dogs smell fear at once, and I have not always been able to, even when I was afraid. There is something coppery about it, a metallic smell mixed with the smell of urine and feces when somebody is afraid. No, not just afraid, but ripped with fear, and it was on the doe. The smell excited the dogs, and they began to run faster, although continuing down the trail. I turned to look back from the sled and saw why the doe was frightened. Wolves.